Hello everyone, welcome back. This video is based on the literary devices. We have finished the poem, explanation of the poem as well. I remember. Now we are going to move ahead and do the literary devices based on this particular poem. Before we begin, I will simultaneously just give you meaning of the figure of speeches which are mostly there in this poem along with definition examples. So it's easy for you to associate and understand. First, very important one is repetition. So this is the figure of speech we have been seeing constantly in this poem. Repetition is the action of repeating something that has already been said or written before. So if you see the first line, I remember, this phrase has been repeated here. This figure of speech is mostly used to emphasize on something. So this particular where you can see the phrase being repeated, I remember, this is called repetition. Children, there is one more figure of speech that we have, and that is called alliteration. Sometimes children get confused with alliteration. They get confused with alliteration and repetition. Like, for example, she sells seashells. Okay, I'm not going to go ahead. Just see S, 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 S repeated. Fine. So when the first letter of any word is repeated, that is alliteration. Now here, the entire phrase is being repeated. So this is not alliteration, this is repetition. Had it been she, and she, then it would be repetition. But here it is, she sells. Words are completely different. So do not confuse it with alliteration. This one is repetition. This is mostly used to emphasize on a particular point. Second figure of speech that we will come very often in this poem is imagery. Now, what is imagery? Imagery is a visually descriptive or figurative language, especially in literary work whenever we use it. It creates a mental image for the reader by appealing to the senses. So there are different kind of imagery. Most important which is used here is visual imagery. So you see something and you create a mental picture. See the next line itself, that is where I was born, the little window where the sun came peeping every morning. So this is imagery. Can you imagine it while reading? I'm pretty sure you can. The house where I was born, the little window where the sun came peeping in at morn. So you can remember a house. You can imagine a house, sorry. So this house can be small, big, it can be according to your imagination, but yes, there is a house in your mind. It creates a mental picture, image in your head when you're reading this line. So these two are figure of speech called as imagery. It evokes a specific and vivid mental picture. Third figure of speech is personification. It's easy for me to explain you these literary devices here because they're just coming one after the other. So see the next line and you have personification. Now what is personification? Personification is when anything, thing, the attribute of human characteristic to something non-human is being given. Fine. So thing is being given the attribute of human. That is your uh, figure of speech called as personification. So they basically make non-human elements relatable and vivid by describing them with human traits. So for instance, here, sun came peeping in at morn. Who comes peeping in the morning? Sun. So sun is peeping. Now see the line here. Nor brought too long a day. What is being talked about here? Sun again. Sun never brought too long a day. Again, it is a figure of speech called as personification. Now, why is this personification? This is personification because here, sun, it is given the ability to control the length of a day, just like human can control something. Similarly, the sun has been given the ability to control the day, nor brought too long a day. This one is personification. Let's move ahead. Fourth figure of speech that we have in this poem is hyperbole. Now, what is hyperbole? Hyperbole is exaggeration. When you exaggerate in a statement or claims that are not being made typically meant to be taken literally, that is hyperbole. It is mostly used to emphasize a point by creating a strong impression through exaggeration. So, whenever you exaggerate something, that is called as hyperbole. Like a made here is borne my breath away. This is a figure of speech called hyperbole. Why is this hyperbole? Because the poet is exaggerating the desire for relief from the burden of life. He can take away this burden of life by taking a retirement as well, going to hill station for days, anything else that he can do, them lot many things, right? He is just exaggerating here by saying, I wish that night could have just taken my breath away. I wish I had died that very moment. So, in this poem, more or less, these figure of speeches are used, these literary devices are used. So if you see again, I remember, same as before, that is repetition. Repetition, you know why? Because these phrases are used again. So this it continues the rhythmic emphasis on memory. So this is repetition. Next is imagery, same as before, at the same point. I just realized that here I did use, I wrote imagine. It is not imagine, it is imagery. Fine. Same imagery is used here. If you see, vivid colors of different flowers can be imagined while reading it. Roses, red and white, violets, and the lily cups. These flowers made of light. Now, this is a new figure of speech that is not done before. So, let me write it down for you. This fifth figure of speech called as metaphor that is being used. Now, what is metaphor? Metaphor is when you compare two things without using as or like. So it creates a direct comparison stating one thing is another to highlight similarities. So here, this line, the flowers made of light. It could have written flowers like light, but instead of using as or like, had it been as or like, it would clearly be simile. But here, without using as or like, comparison is being made. So this is metaphor. Fine. So he compares flowers to light, emphasizing their beauty and brightness. Moving ahead, this is the lilacs where the robin built, and where my brother set the laburnum on his birthday. This one is imagery. You can imagine. You can imagine while eating. I'll just write it again. Right? So, simple, clear imagery of specific memory, which is adding personal significance to the poem, has been made here by saying, calling out his brother here, adding him in the poem. And this is all for first two stanzas. Let us move ahead and see the next two. I remember where I used to swing and thought the air must rush as fresh. First two lines. Please write in the comment section which it is. By now you all know. Second, also I want you to know, please write when you're writing in the comment section, this is number 1, this is 2, where I used to swing. Fine. And thought the air rush as fresh. Now, as fresh, children, this is what you did in class 3, 4, that is simile. But the surprising part is that you still write incorrect spelling of simile. This is the correct spelling of simile. Simile is when you compare two things using as or like. When you compare two things without using as or like, that is metaphor. When you compare two things using as or like, that is simile. Now, what is the comparison made here? He compares the freshness of the air to the experience of birds in the flight shallows we discussed. Okay, next, just after this, we have another figure of speech which is closely related to simile, that is metaphor. In this, no as or like is used, but comparison is made. So, what is the comparison here? He compares, that is the speaker, he compares the speaker's youthful spirit to the feather. So, the spirit was like feather. So, instead of you as or like, he just says, my spirit flew in feathers. If you see, this poem has many figure of speeches, just one after the other. So after two stanzas are being done with you, third and fourth becomes very easy for you to understand. That is so heavy now, and summer pools could hardly cool the fever on my brow. Now there are two figure of speeches, one after the other. This is hyperbole. This is hyperbole because the poet is exaggerating his excitement of childhood. I felt so excited that even the summer pool could not cool down my excitement. And second line, next line is metaphor. Metaphor, fever, it symbolizes intensity and fervor of his youth. I was so excited. It was so intense. My happiness was so intense that even the summer pools could not cool it. So, hyperbole and metaphor. Oh, again, number 1. So, that means these two here and here are similar. So, write in the comment box. Number 1, I will understand. This one is again number 2. So 2, 2, you please write it down. This one, but close against the sky. Now this is number 3. I want you to write it in the comment section. So 1, 2, and 3, you can write one after the other. By now you should know. Close against the sky. Who's going close against the sky? What is happening here? Please write it down. So with this, we finish all the literary devices that are being used in this poem. Please write in the comment section 1, 2, and 3 what they are. By now, you should know all of them. So, thank you for watching this video. And with this video, I am not coming to the end of this poem. I remember, I will later, not right now, but later, I'm going to do themes of this poem with you. Not now, but later. So, please wait for the next video in which I'm going to cover work of artifice with you. Again, a beautiful and simple poem. Thank you again for watching this. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, dear students. God bless you.